Hi everyone, and welcome to the first video in what is going to be a new series of sort. A series that is going to be focused on reading. So many of you have asked for more reading videos. I think that it is probably my second most requested video at the moment. The first being a part 2 of the Dutch lesson roleplay. But for those of you waiting for that one, you're gonna have to keep waiting for a while. I'm sorry. For a long time. But so reading is here. But some notes. So most of you were asking for more short story readings. And I'm not saying that I won't be doing any short story readings ever, but that's not going to be the focus of this series, because I was contacted by a wonderful woman who is an educator, and she works with children with reading difficulties. And she mentioned that quite often she has to use these read-along videos and audios that are quite boring and, quite robotic. And she mentioned also not that culturally sensitive often. And she said that she liked my videos, she liked my style, and she would love it if I were to do some readings of either children's books or young adult books. And you know me, so obviously this is something that I really support and would want to help with. But I didn't want to commit to reading another full-length book, young adult novel, because as you know, I'm already reading a book for another wonderful woman, and I will be reading a second one for her after that. So I didn't want to commit to, a whole young adult full-length novel, but I can definitely do children's books. So the series is going to be focused on the reading of children's books and stories. I'm going to be showing the ones that I already have and plan to do. So, stay tuned for that. Don't immediately think like children's books, no thank you, and click away. I think you might find some of these interesting. So I'm going to be showing you those in a second. But I just wanted to explain one other thing before I get started on that. I am smirking because this is so typical of me to have like this whole introduction before I get to the actual point. But it is what it is. So I did some checking on copyright because children's books are short, and if I read them in a video, that obviously means that I would be reading the whole thing, which, you know, makes some copyright alarm bells go off in my head, obviously. So I did some reading, and turns out, yeah, I can't do that. It's not allowed. So, you know, obviously if the books are, you know, very old, the stories are very old, like some fairy tales would be and such, then it's a different story. But if the books are newer, they will still fall under the author's copyright, and I technically can't read the whole thing online. Many people do. Many people still do. For example, the book that I am going to be starting with in this video, there are a dozen readings of it already on YouTube publicly, and some people, you know, refer to it as fair use, but from what I understand of the fair use rule, yeah, that does not fly. It is not fair use. If I read the whole thing and publish it publicly for everyone to see and that's it, it's not fair use. Another reason people still do it is because it's pretty low risk. So there's not, you know, a big chance of you getting into trouble if you do violate this copyright law. So those two things are the reason that a lot of people still do it. So what I have decided for myself is I am going to do some sort of weird bending of the law. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna just bend it a little. Just since you know, I am doing it to help out an educator as well. So what I'm going to be doing is each video I will be publicly showing you the book, talking about it, maybe talking a little bit about the background, where I got the book, why I got the book, about maybe. That all really depends on the book. And then in that public video, I am going to start reading the book. Because that is allowed. Like you can show a part of someone's work. So I'm going to start in that public video with the reading of the book. And then at some point, the video will fade to black, and you have to go to the description box and click the link to the part 2 of that video where I continue reading the book. Okay, so I'm still reading the whole entire book, but most of it will be unlisted, so not publicly available on YouTube. Only those that click through on the first video will be able to see it, but it won't show up in search terms or any, in searches or any of that. So that's kind of the route that I'm taking it. Okay, so I will just be reading start to finish. So that means that this video will not have an end. Okay, it's just at some point gonna fade to black, and then you're gonna have to keep watching in the second video. So that's maybe a little bit odd, but you'll get used to it. What I recommend is that you line up the 2 videos ahead of time in, in watch later or a playlist, so that it just continues without disruption. I don't have ads on my videos, so there shouldn't be a disruption in between the 2. So if you just line them up ahead of time, the video will just appear as one. So that's a suggestion. Another suggestion is that you buy the book. If you like the book and you would like to read it to your own children, use it in your own classroom, anything like that, buy the book. Don't buy it through Amazon. We're better than that, okay? Marvelous Army, we're better than that. Don't buy it through Amazon. Okay. Thus endeth the introduction. So, I have some books already that I plan to be reading. These are my niece's books. I have a niece who is 3.5. She has a lot more books than this. However, these are the only English books that we got her, because obviously we speak Dutch, she speaks Dutch. Our whole, my sisters and I were all fluent in English, so the plan is that my niece also becomes fluent in English as soon as possible. So that's why she does have some English books, but obviously not many. So, the book I am going to be starting with today is a book that I've mentioned previously in my USA road trip saga called Shades of Black, a celebration of our children. So we are going to get back to that very soon. But I just wanted to run through the other books that I have, kind of to keep you interested, because this is not going to be like, what are children's books even? What are they usually about? I don't know. It's not going to be that. So these are some other books that I have. The one that I'm most excited about is this one. This is a collection of Anansi stories. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Anansi the spider, but they are very old stories. They originated in Africa and Ghana, but obviously I know them through my own heritage, which is Surinamese. So I am very excited about these stories because they actually have a connection to my own childhood and my own heritage. So when I start on these, I will talk about that a little more. So these are short tales of Anansi the spider. They're not all about Anansi, but there's a bunch of them in here. There's like 50 stories in here, so I can read a couple of these publicly. Then another book is The Magic Pot, and this features 3 African tales retold by Dina N. Mbanze. I don't know anything about this book yet, but my sister had it and brought it when I asked for the other ones. So also 3 African tales. And then we have this book, which is called Women Who Broke the Rules. I Kept On Marching by Coretta Scott King. So this is a children's book. About her story, and I'll talk more about it in the video that features it. And lastly, this book, Little People, Big Dreams, Maya Angelou. And so this tells the story, the life from childhood of Maya Angelou. And I've read this one to my niece a couple times. It's sad, but it's a beautiful book. So those are the books that I already have. so books that are coming. So I think that they're interesting to all ages, and I think, yeah, I think that they can be enjoyed by people of all ages. So I hope that you will like the series, and that it tides you over until I read a short story one day. Okay, so the book that I'm going to be featuring in this video is Shades of Black. It's a very short book, so that's why I'm starting with it, because this video is already long because of all the explanations. So that works out nicely then to start with this short book. So my sister and I, we bought this book during our road trip in the United States. And so we did 2 weeks in New England and 2 weeks in the South. And in the South, we wanted to visit important places with regards to the civil rights movement and Black history. So one of the places we visited was Birmingham, and we also visited the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, which, in my humble opinion, as far as civil rights institutes go, is amazing. It's amazing. Like, if you get the chance to visit, please do. And if you feel like, yeah, that's good, but I know an even better one, let me know, because I want to visit. And we bought this in the gift shop because our other sister was pregnant at the time. So she was pregnant, and as you do, you don't know anything about the child and what it's going to look like. But what we did know is that he or she was going to be Black. I think by now you all know that I'm mixed. My sisters and I were mixed. We have a white father and a Black mother. I'm white passing, but the sister that was pregnant is not white passing. She's Black, light-skinned, but Black. And the father is a very dark-skinned Black man. So we knew that this child was not going to come out looking like me. And we came across this book, and we thought it was so beautiful. It was just what it is, a celebration of our children, a celebration of Black children and all the ways that they exist. And we knew that whatever our niece or nephew, I don't think we knew at the time. But we knew that whatever our niece or nephew was going to look like, they would find themselves represented in this book, no matter what. And we thought that was very beautiful. And another reason that it resonated with us is because my older sister, who, kind of falls between me, who's just completely white passing, and our other sister, who is a light-skinned black woman. Our older sister kind of falls in between there, and she struggles a lot with her identity because she self-identifies as a black woman, but the world does not perceive her that way all the time. It depends. It's like black people see that she's black, but white people don't. It's weird. Anyway, so her, appearance, like her skin and her eyes and her hair, are also in this book. So for her, it was also like this, I don't know, like confirmation, or at least something to help accept that, black people come in all shades. And even her shade. It's complicated. Being mixed is a whole other weird situation. Especially for her. Like for me, things are a little more clear, I guess, less confusing. But she struggles a lot, and this book, this book spoke to her as well. So, interestingly enough, our niece ended up so much lighter than we had ever expected, given, her father. So my dad's genes are just ridiculous, basically. So my dad's genes are just something else. But as we expected, she can fully find herself in here. And it's cool because when she was younger still, so she's 3.5 now, but when she was even younger, she had a phase that she was kind of focused on skin color, and she insisted that we were the same color, so that her and I have the same skin tone. And this book really helped in that conversation. So I read this book with her several times because I love it. And I could show her that, yeah, technically my skin tone is also in here. It's not the same as hers, but it's part of her, and it's part of her family and heritage and background, and part of what we all share, which is our Black heritage. So yeah, it's cool, and it helped work through that, and it helped to explain everything and why we all look so different, why our skin looks different, why our hair looks different, why our eye colors look different, which apparently children start to struggle with at a very young age, which I was completely unaware of, how young children start to struggle with that, and how important it is to start celebrating black skin and black hair consciously and clearly from a very young age, because all they see around them is not them. And it broke my heart. Like the first time, like it was this gradual awakening, gradual awareness, where my niece loved to dance, and I would play dance videos, dancing playlists for her on YouTube, just kind of going off of the music that I liked and the dancing that I liked, and not thinking twice about anything else. And so I ended up with videos, these playlists of Asian dance groups. And they were great and fun, and my niece loved them. And then suddenly she became very aware that her hair doesn't move. And so all of the girls in the videos, their hair is long and straight, and it's flowy, and it moves and it bounces. And her hair does not move because it's short and curly, and it just does not move. And she became so focused on that, and it just broke my heart. And it was like, crap, these are not the videos that are best for her. Like, these are okay, like they can be included, but I need to make sure that within these playlists are people that look like her, people with hair like her, you know, people that she can see as beautiful and talented with hair that does not move. So, you know, it's just to say that these things are important. Children become aware of the Western beauty ideal so young, so young. I don't. So, like, books like this are important. So, okay, let's get started on the book maybe. So again, it's called Shades of Black, A Celebration of Our Children, and it's written by Sandra L. Pinkney, And the photographs in the book are taken by her husband, Miles C. Pinkney. So, and in the book, first it starts describing all of the different shades of black in terms of skin tone. And then it focuses on hair and then on eye color. So, what I'm going to be reading with you in this first part publicly is the part featuring the skin tones, and then it will break and continue on in the unlisted video that you can find by clicking on the link in the description box. Okay, so let's get started on the book, and I hope you enjoy the series. Shades of Black, a celebration of our children, by Sandra L. Pinkney. I am black. I am unique. I am the creamy white frost in vanilla ice cream, and the milky smooth brown in a chocolate bar. I am the midnight blue in a licorice stick, and the golden brown in sugar. I am the velvety orange in a peach, and the coppery brown in a pretzel. I am the radiant brassy yellow in popcorn, and the gingery brown in a cookie. I am black. I am unique.